Hi there, Eli, and I am Michael Buckoff. I am the founder, owner, and the materials writer for your TOEFL online course, the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And you made a comment and sent me an email, so I want to take a look at this right now. So you see, I read all about you a lot, and I like your 7-step system. I assume that's a great program for those who want to get high scores from TOEFL. However, I have some concerns and would be grateful if you can help me to ease my mind. All right. See, first of all, unfortunately, I have some self-discipline problems, so I need a mentor. All right. I'd be happy to do that. You say, do you give some assignments to the test takers? As far as I can see, you're giving instant feedback, right? No, I don't do that. Let me clarify what I do here so you know exactly what's going on. Probably if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see sometimes that I'm responding to my students when they complete their independent and integrated speaking practice test. Also, I usually give feedback when my students complete pronunciation pretest. But the feedback is not instant. What my students will do is, Eli, is they will post a pronunciation or speaking practice test at my VoxyPop discussion group, and then about 24 hours later, I will go to the discussion group and give them comments and then send them a link. So that's kind of how that works. Now, in the case of the independent and integrated writing practice test, I typically have a teaching assistant who reads and scores all of those practice tests, and he does that again about 24 hours after my students complete those practice tests. So that's kind of how that works. Now your next question is, do I have to deal with some lower level materials if my level is high, or you have questions for all levels? The way that my course works, my course is geared not to lower level students. You should be at least high intermediate level to advanced in your academic English proficiency already. So I don't really have any basic materials. Now what you do is, let me read your last. It says, I want to get into your self method if you explain me the things above. Okay. The best thing for you is, if you can tell me this is very, very helpful for me. Remember that I have over 700 lessons to help you with your pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, your reading, listening, writing, and speaking areas. And not all students are the same. Some of my students need to focus more on just writing. Their TOEFL score is good in all areas except for the writing. Some of my students need to focus on both speaking and writing. Some of my students, depending on their score, they want to focus on all the different sections of my course for maybe 3 months, for maybe 2 months, or maybe 1 month. So everybody's a little bit different. And what you want to do for me is tell me what your current TOEFL score is, including subtotals, and then also tell me what is your goal. What is your target TOEFL score you'd like to get, including subtotals. This is very, very important. I need to know your overall score plus subtotals plus your target score plus subtotals. And what I'll do is I can give you a pretty good idea of how long you will have to study before you can reach your goal. And what a lot of students will do is, Eli, they use my online TOEFL course. They'll use it for 1 or 2 or 3 months, and say 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 weeks before they take the TOEFL exam, they will complete one of my full-length IBT practice tests. They'll get a practice score. And then the students can make a decision about whether or not they're ready to take the official TOEFL IBT exam. All right, that's kind of how that works. Let's go back to one thing that you said here. I have some self-discipline problems, so I need a mentor. Now remember that you're not going to meet with me in real time. I'm not going to meet with you in Skype. When you get comments from me, it's usually a day after you've completed an assignment in my course. Now, the self-discipline problems, if you have these kinds of issues, it might not be a good idea for you to use an online TOEFL course, because I can't go over to your house and knock on the door and say, hey, Eli, hey, you didn't do your assignment this week. You know, that's not how it works. I mean, you have to want to improve your academic English language abilities. Now, the main thing is, if you're having some self-discipline problems, maybe you have to make sure that you have some legitimate goals. And then if you do, you'll probably be motivated, I think, to study. So let me ask you a question. So why do you want to improve your English? What is the main reason here? Right? You can't just say, well, I'm going to, I want to get a high TOEFL score, but why do you want to do that? For example, a majority of my students that I interact with online, some of them want to be nurses, some of them want to be physical therapists, some want to be pharmacists. Many of my students want to enter an undergraduate or graduate program at an American university. So all these students, they know exactly what they want to do. So then they're motivated to work toward achieving those goals. And the TOEFL, it helps many of my students achieve the goals that they've set. So it's not just getting a high score. I mean, you have to understand why it is you want to do what you want to do, because if you want to get over 100, I just had one of my students last month, he scored 102 out of 120, but it wasn't easy. He was studying typically about 2 to 4 hours every day, and he did this for 90 days, and he was also doing a lot of reading, a lot of listening practice in his free time. He was also talking with native speakers. He was watching American movies. He worked very hard. It was hard. He was frustrated. But finally, after 3 months, he was able to reach his goal of 102. So to help you with your self-discipline, I'll be happy to be a mentor. And sometimes, I'm not going to say guarantee this, but if you enroll in my course, you know and I know that you're now paying $38 a month to study TOEFL online. So hopefully that will help motivate you to use my course, because if you use my course, you can definitely get improvements. Right? Now, if you enroll in my course, but you never study any of my lessons, and you don't complete any practice tests, there's no way for you, Eli, to actually make improvements. The improvements only come if you practice. You see what I'm saying? All right, so let me show you a little bit about my course for a minute here so you can kind of see what's going on. This is where people go to sign up for my course. So I'd like to invite you to join my course, right? And then I'm going to send you a username and a password. And then you will have access to my course. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scroll down. As I said, there are 7 main parts of my course, and then the 8th part of my course offers full-length IBT practice tests that you can take. So let's just kind of scroll down. You can stop the video at any time if you want to look at any lessons. So I'll kind of move slowly. So I have vocabulary. That's my first step. And in the vocabulary section, you will learn, if you study, if you practice, you'll learn over 1,700 college level words. As you can see, there are many practice tests here that you can take to help you test the mastery of those words. I even have some great lessons on vocabulary guessing strategies and so on. Now let's take a look at step 2. Pronunciation. This is probably one of the most popular areas in my course because pretty much any student I have has pronunciation problems. So here I have practice lessons to help you with all the vowel and all the consonant sounds of American English. So what a lot of my students will do, and this is what I recommend for you, is you're going to go to my Speak Clearly lesson number 1. You're going to complete my diagnostic pretest. And then I will tell you which vowel and consonant sounds you need to focus on. And then once you've studied and mastered those lessons, and it takes time, it can take you 2 or 3 months just to master the pronunciation part of my course. Remember, building your academic English language proficiency. This is what I do. My students know they're not just going to get a high TOEFL score, they will truly have much better English after taking my course. You don't go to my course, Eli, to just get tips and tricks to pass a TOEFL IBT. That's not what I'm about. I'm interested in helping you communicate better academically, professionally, and even personally. So your second pretest, this will help diagnose any problems that you have with syllable division, grammatical word endings, word stress, sentence rhythm, intonation, and also thought groups and blending. So as you can see here, Eli, my pronunciation part of my course, it covers all of the pronunciation things that you need to worry about in order to speak clearly, so people can understand what you say, including the TOEFL IBT human raters. Step 3, this is the grammar section of my course. And this one's totally new. I just redid this. Actually, I just redid everything about a month ago. What you do here is you take a grammar diagnostic pretest, and then I will show you here which of these grammar lessons you need to focus on the most. Then when you get to the end, to test your mastery, you can take one more grammar diagnostic post-test, and then you can see what lessons you should focus on here. Now, in the fourth area of my course, Eli, I have listening. You can practice your listening. You can see these lessons here, and I do have about 40 different listening practice tests right now, and I have lessons. I have lessons to give you strategies and to help you learn note-taking, which is very, very important for the TOEFL IBT exam. Reading. And the main thing I did here is a lot of my students have TOEFL books. They're very aware of the IBT reading passages and all those things. And I do have some lessons that help you understand the reading question types and the strategies for answering them. But the real purpose, in addition to these kinds of lessons, my main focus in the reading is to help you improve your reading speed from 100 words a minute all the way to 350 words a minute. This is the main thing that you want to do in the reading part of my course, because faster readers, Eli, have better comprehension than slower readers. And if you have a fast reading speed when you're doing the TOEFL IBT and you're completing the reading passages during the reading section, you're completing reading passages during the integrated speaking section, and you're completing reading passages during the integrated writing section, you'll be able to go through that information faster, and you'll spend more time on answering questions and less time on reading. The second or the sixth section of my course, Eli, is writing. And this is also a very, very popular part of my course. So I have different kinds of lessons to help you build your independent writing skills. And writing is a recursive process. I don't know if you ever heard that term before, but what it means is you have to repeat certain things over and over and over. You acquire and reacquire certain habits as a writer in order to learn those things. That's why I have so many writing practice tests. I have over 40 independent writing practice tests to give my students a chance to repeat a lot of the writing things they need to do during the TOEFL IBT. And my students typically who get over 100, guess what? They'll take 25 or 30, and some students will complete every single writing practice test in my course in order to improve. Sometimes it takes that kind of practice, especially if you want a high score. Right now, I also have a series of integrated writing lessons, and then I have, as you can see, I have more than 43 different integrated writing practice tests. And here, I do have them categorized according to level. You might try, for example, 2 or 3 of the easy integrated writing practice tests. Then you can try the medium. These are probably closer to TOEFL level. And then difficult, my difficult integrated writing practice tests, these are above the TOEFL difficulty. So if you take my difficult ones and then you take the TOEFL IBT exam, you'll find the writing section easy. And then the final section of my course, this is speaking. And I have a lot of lessons here. So we have a lot of lessons to help you build both your independent and your integrated writing skills. I have some independent and integrated speaking practice tests, as you can see. Now, the independent speaking practice tests are quite popular, so I actually wrote another 300 speaking topics to help students. Now, my rule is, now I know you'll probably join my course and you say, okay, I'm going to start posting every day 5 independent speaking practice tests. You can't do that. In my course, I got a rule. You can post 1 speaking and 1 writing practice test each day that you are a student in my online course. Why do I do that? Because I have more than 100 students. And I want to try to give everybody a chance to get feedback on a weekly basis. So if you just post 1, if you do 1 speaking and 1 writing, that's going to give me enough time. I will be able to respond to all my students who are completing those speaking practice tests. All right, then the 8th section is if you want to take a full-length TOEFL IBT section-specific practice test, I do offer this as an additional service. Once you become one of my students, you can learn more about that. All right, so I think we're good. So hopefully during this particular video, I've given you some information so that you can make a choice about whether or not you'd like to join my course. I'd love to have you, but remember, you got to have some good goals. You got to be highly motivated, and then you need to practice on a regular basis. You want to do TOEFL practice every day if you want to have a high score. All right?